What's up, it's Ablaze Monkey. I'm back for another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit spicy. Yes, we are doing a part 2 to the most popular what if on this channel. It is what if Goku had a sister. The first part has around 4,000 views, which is just insane for this channel. So I think for the start of this spooky month, it would be good to revisit this what if and go into part 2. So in the last part, we covered the origins of Terza, Goku's sister. She grew up on planet Alia and defeated King Maui, being hailed as a hero and a savior of the planet. And if this is your first time finding my channel and your first video you're watching, I would really recommend you go and check out part 1 before watching this part. Otherwise, nothing will make sense to you. I'd also like to mention that the editing style has changed for my channel, and if you do like it, let me know down below in the comments. So let's get right into it. With the defeat of the evil king and the planet being rebuilt, Terza has lived in peace for the past few years. So if you want to know where we are in the timeline, we are in the time skip right before Dragon Ball Z. So right after Goku defeats Piccolo in the World Martial Arts Tournament, and he obviously goes off with Chi-Chi to have Gohan. So yeah, that 5-year time skip. So let's get into this. Terza had been living for the past couple of years on Alia, and the planet had rebuilt itself. Her father was obviously the new king, and although she liked the idea of being royalty and a princess, she much preferred to live in her little house on the outskirts of the planet's city with a few guards that she had grown up with. She was seen as a protector and a hero. Some of the children even knew her as an urban legend because she didn't really like to show herself to the public. In all of this time of peace, she hadn't really kept up her training due to being the strongest on the planet, only occasionally training. So, I think we'll say that her power level is, let's say, it's that of 1,300. So she was clearly the strongest on the planet, and she didn't even think she needed to train, because she wasn't per se arrogant, but she was just a bit overconfident in her abilities. Little did she know this would come back to bite her in the future. While living out with a few soldiers she had grown up with, she had often had thoughts of her family. Very, very vague memories of when she was younger had reappeared in her mind. There was only one memory that was still completely clear, and that was the last memory, the memory of where she came from, where her mother and father said goodbye to her when she was sent off to this planet. She somewhat actually wanted to find them. Maybe she could find her parents. However, a part of her also didn't, and even if she wanted to, there was no mode of transport for the planet that could take you off to another world that was as far away as where she had come from. There was, however, still her space pod, but it was damaged beyond repair, and a part of her didn't even want to ask for the space pod to even try and be fixed. That was all in the past. She had lived on this planet for so long, so she kind of didn't want to leave. However, she was still curious, and just as she was having those thoughts, it seemed that as if the hand of fate had interfered itself. One of the soldiers who had obviously been living with Terza on the outskirts of the main city with her told her, "Lady Terza, a space pod has just been spotted. It's the exact same one you were seen in just when you arrived on this planet as a baby." What? How could this be possible? Just as she thought these words in her head, all these things were going in her brain. Could this be an alien attacking? An explosion went off, rocking the house. Terza was shocked. She then sensed the key. She sensed multiple explosions. People were dying. The key matched hers. No, this key, it was even stronger. But no, it wasn't by much. She had been suppressing her power. However, she knew now that she needed it. It seemed that all the soldiers had left. They'd all gone to fight against this enormous key. Another explosion went off. Her eyes widened as she walked out of her house. The city was in ruin and completely ablaze on fire, completely destroyed. Who had done this? She immediately flew up, speeding towards the city, landing in the barren wasteland of planet Alia. She then saw him, a spiky-haired man, who, when he turned around, saw her. He had a menacing grin. She yelled at him, "Did you do this?" The spiky-haired man smiled. "Now that's no way to address your elder." If you are wondering who I am Raditz, your older brother. She was shocked. You're not my brother. Raditz laughed. Ha! So we finally meet. I've waited oh so long to see you, my dear sister. Why? Why did you do this? Why? So many innocent people. My father, my mother, are they okay? Raditz looked at her repulsively in disgust. Father? Mother? You mean these wretched cockroaches? How pitiful. This has put a bad taste in my mouth. I had searched for you the fastest way, by attacking the main city. All of these puny bugs, they died instantly, and it seems my plan has worked as you have come straight towards me. Now, come with me and join the Frieza Force! The Frieza Force, she thought. She had heard stories of Frieza. He was a galactic emperor. He was ruthless. He had terrorized the universe for many years. However, that was just make-believe story. She didn't believe in stuff like that, but could it be real? After what this man was saying, she began to think about it. She had to respond. She didn't know what to say. Come with you? Never! I'll never join a heartless monster like you! Raditz had a pleasing grin on his face. What are you smiling at? You didn't get what you wanted. Ah, so I finally get to kill you. He put his hands to his face as if he was going insane. Finally, I have hated you my entire life. My entire life, I was ridiculed because of you. A Saiyan woman was born with a higher power level than me. I was mocked, laughed at. You were the pride of our family. However, to me, you were just a pain in my side, a thorn that I had to remove. The constant mocking of how my sister had been an elite and had one of the highest power levels on the planet, such a higher power level than me, and you had left me in the dust. I was told to recruit you. However, I don't care about that. Considering you just refused anymore and you don't want to come anymore, all I want now is to rip you from limb to limb and then destroy this wretched excuse for a world. After that, I'll probably recruit Kakarot, who's on a planet not too far away from here, just so I don't come back completely empty-handed. Tursa was shocked. This was so much information. Kakarot, she thought. She'd heard that name before. Yes, in one of her memories, she was remembering. She had heard him be mentioned. She looked at Raditz, bewildered. Where is Kakarot? Huh? What do you care about that, after I've just told you all of this information? It doesn't matter anyways. Soon both you and this planet will be nothing but stardust. I'll enjoy destroying you both together. Tursadin heard something. It was a whimper. She looked down and saw a child. You're the hero Tursa, from the stories, right? The one who defeated the evil king. Oh, so you do exist. It seems Mommy was right. The child smiled as it took its last dying breath. An innocent child had just died in front of Tursa. Tears welled up in her eyes as she finally began to understand the weight of the situation. How Raditz had killed all of these innocent people. All of her people. Her home destroyed. The cities destroyed. Maybe even her parents. Everyone. They'd all been taken away from her. The soldiers had rushed in and obviously been killed instantly. This was all because of why? Why was this all? Just because of some stupid grudge? How stupid, she screamed, receiving a rage boost. She powered straight up to full power. She was really close to Raditz in power, and the two were not equal, because Tursa was clearly underneath him, but Tursa was close to him in power, way closer than when Goku and Piccolo fought him. And so the battle began, a battle of carnage, of fury, and to be honest, the best way I can describe this is it was a fierce battle, a battle of hatred. The punches, the kicks, they were all sent at full power, each with the intent to cause damage, permanent damage. However, it was clear during the battle that Raditz was going to win. He had an overall stronger raw strength, and he was much more experienced, having fought multiple different foes. And although Tursa had been a prodigy and quite the skilled fighter with so much potential, she was too blinded by rage and was unable to focus. She was attacking wildly, like a rampaging beast, and she was now losing. Raditz was beginning to beat her up, and she was missing all her attacks, taking out all of his frustration for being mocked his whole life on her. He continued to beat her. He beat her into a bloody pulp. Ah, what a shame. So much untapped potential, all to waste. You could have probably rivaled Vegeta in strength had you trained properly and been with us. Now, I shall kill you. But just as Raditz flew up ready to blast her, he began to charge up. Tursa began to take deep breaths, breathing in and out. She was going through all her memories as her life flashed before her eyes. She began to remember Gregor's teachings about staying clear-minded and not letting yourself get distracted and let your emotions consume you. She then saw it. Every single memory she had. She had made all of her memories here. A whole lifetime had been spent on planet Alia. She couldn't lose. She couldn't be defeated by this so-called brother of hers. She began to clear her mind. She looked up and she screamed a deafening roar, powering up. And the way I can describe this is Tursa. Her power, it was originally like a raging flame that consumed everything, destroying everything. But now it was like a calm ocean, a whirlpool, swallowing everything whole, destroying it, however, calmly. She was focused, ready. Her power was concentrated, ready to defeat Raditz. Calm and calculated, she flew full speed at Raditz. Raditz fired off his blast. Narrowly avoiding the blast, she sent herself straight at Raditz. Raditz had sent this blast at her, which destroyed more of the city behind her. She launched up, flying towards him. Now, it wasn't only her fighting in her heart. It was all of the aliens, all of her friends. Every single citizen was here. They were all fighting with her. She had devised a plan. She could feel their souls, their hearts all united within her. Even if they were dead, she could feel it. And then she smirked. She fired a key blast at Raditz. This distracted Raditz, but he easily just swiped it away. He scoffed at Tursa. Is that it? He said, but he was distracted. Just then, she kicked him, sending him flying far into the sky. As he got back into his composure, he laughed. What a pitiful attack! You barely even did any damage. You were lucky to escape with your life from my first blast, but you won't be so lucky this time. She then screamed at him, Raditz, you took away all of these people's lives, and now you shall repay. You shall repay with yours! Raditz laughed. Ha! You may have potential, however against me, it's clear. I have the advantage. You're simply too weak to win. You can't overwhelm me in strength in any way, and there's nobody alive. Nobody is coming to help you. I wiped out everybody on this planet. However, just as Raditz said that, she fired a full-power energy blast straight towards Raditz. Raditz easily blocked, but he began to be pushed back by the blast. It didn't hurt at all, but he laughed even more. He laughed even more. Is this meant to be your final attack? Raditz realized that, although he wasn't taking any damage, he was being pushed back. This was the final layer of the planet's atmosphere. Raditz pushed away the blast, blasting it away. The key blast was deflected. He was confused. However, he then saw her. Tursa had landed on the ground and was preparing to jump, the ground underneath her cracking. She then flew at top speed straight for Raditz. Raditz said, I'll just avoid it. He turned around, and his laughter and arrogance turned to fear. You might be a bit confused as to what is going on, but it was this moment Raditz realized what she was doing. You probably haven't realized, but Raditz clearly has. He screamed, Stop! 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 You're coming too fast! We're too close to space! I'll be sent flying into the vacuum of space! If you kill me, no, I can't die to you. Even if you do kill me, two stronger Saiyans will come and avenge me. They'll come for this planet, and they'll come for you! She didn't care. She would avenge her people. She yelled, I'll find our brother Kakarot, and together we'll take down Frieza and your Saiyan friends, no matter what it takes. Tursa continued to fly faster. She propelled herself into Raditz, offering a punch to the gut, which cracked Raditz's armor. But it didn't break Raditz's armor. She was too weak for that. But she had been going at so many miles an hour, and she had attempted to put so much force into this blow that Raditz was sent hurtling, flying into space, vomiting blood from the impact of her punch, screaming his sister's name, Tursa! No! His final words, Raditz perished. He was deep in space, left only in thought. He had no oxygen. He gasped for air. He was then met with a very gruesome death, mainly due to the lack of oxygen and being so deep in space that he was finished. So personally, I don't think Saiyans can breathe in space, and although there have been battles in space that I can think of, like, Goku, Moro versus the Grand Supreme Kai, obviously Goku and Vegeta can help, and of course there have been fights like Goku v Beerus, where Goku was in space, but I would say that they were pretty close to Earth, so maybe that can be justified, and it is a movie, it's not technically canon. And of course, there's multiple other instances of Goku not being able to go in space, like when he fought against Frieza and Namek was being destroyed. So I think that this is my logic, and I think this is a very interesting way for a character to be killed off in Dragon Ball Z, and it's not something I've ever seen done before, so yeah. So we see Terza, the last survivor on the planet, who slowly fell down to the ground with a smile. She was knocked out unconscious for a couple of hours. Later, she woke up. She actually hadn't been too badly injured, and she considered looking for survivors. However, as she roamed, she realized she was too weak. She had barely any energy, and it would take weeks before she could properly search the city. And at this point, there was no point. She had avenged them all, and this would only bring her even more pain. What if she did find a survivor? What would she even do with them? They were stuck on this barren wasteland for a planet. Maybe those Namekians that she had heard stories about, they had wish-granting balls or something? Oh, she was thinking crazy thoughts. She clearly had gone insane. She didn't know where to go. However, eventually she stumbled upon and found Raditz's space pod. It was in actually really good condition, and as she had hoped, she saw that it was set for Earth. What Earth? What is that? She clicked a few buttons and a voice spoke. Now going to Kakarot, on Earth. She smiled. Kakarot was probably in a very similar situation to her, and he would probably help her. The space pod went flying, and she was off inside. She began to close her eyes. A small smile formed across her face. Now we can assume that Earth is relatively close to Alia, so I'll give it at best a few months. So after a while, Terza crash landed on Earth. Yes, she's in Earth, in the exact same place as Raditz. And, of course, she still finds the farmer with a shotgun, but thank God she doesn't kill him. And, obviously, because she didn't kill him, we now have the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z still alive. I'm just chatting shit, guys. He's weak as fuck. No, of course, the farmer with the shotgun is the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z, and so she begins her search for Kakarot. Now, she could sense a huge power, and, well, not really huge, I'd say more big, and she decides to go check it out. Maybe it's Kakarot. Most of her wounds have healed, so even if it isn't, she could quite easily deal with whoever it was, and even if they were quite powerful, she had faced the likes of Raditz, so what was this compared to her? So then when she found the big power level, she was quite disappointed. That obviously being because it was Piccolo. She realized that this was not Kakarot, and having realized that, she didn't even bother fighting him, and she just decided to leave without saying anything. Piccolo was really confused, but he wouldn't just let her go. He needed friends on MySpace. Who was this woman? Piccolo chased after her, saying he won't let her go without talking to him first. He needs to know who she is and how she's so powerful. Piccolo attacked, firing a ki blast straight at her, and she easily dodged. I don't see why she wouldn't. Piccolo stopped, and so did she, and they turned and made eye contact, looking at each other. Piccolo asked, "Who are you?" And she looked at him. The silence continued. He began to get angry. "Answer me!" Then, all of a sudden, Terza appeared right in front of him. Yes, Terza was so fast that Piccolo couldn't even see her. It was like an instant, like the click of a finger. And then, before he knew it, she punched him straight in the gut, knocking Piccolo out. Quite easily, actually. Now, she is way faster than Piccolo, and in terms of strength, she is way stronger than Piccolo, being 3 times stronger than him. So yeah, I mean, she is basically on the same level or scale as Raditz, being only a couple hundred away from him, so Piccolo is absolutely no threat at this point in the story. So she then sensed another power level, an even stronger one, and of course, she went for it. And so she arrived. Yes, I think you know where she arrived. She arrived at Kame House, where Goku was. And he was obviously visiting with his son, visiting Master Roshi, Bulma, and Krillin. They obviously were all confused seeing this random woman just appear with, say, an armor on, and she then landed on the ground. Then she saw it. She saw him. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she instantly ran in for a hug. This man, it had to be her brother. He looked identical to her memories of her father. It had to be him. She was his sister. Goku was a bit shocked because this woman's just hugged him after flying from across the ocean. Hello, who are you? Kakarot, it's me. You don't remember me because you were so young, but I'm Tersa, your sister. Goku said, Kakarot, what? Yeah, that's your name. I'm sorry, but maybe you have me mixed up with someone else. I'm Goku. He then spotted Tersa's tail. Oh, so you have a tail too? Yeah, of course, we both come from the same place. But where's your tail, Goku? Goku was getting even more confused. Well, I got rid of my tail. Wait, don't you know? We're both aliens, Goku. Goku was shocked. Wait, but no, I'm an Earthling. Yes, our planet was destroyed, and both you and me were sent off-world to be spared. Obviously, you arrived here on Earth, and me on my own planet. Tersa then explained her story to Goku about her planet, to which Goku explained his story. She then, of course, told him about Raditz and how the two Saiyans were coming to Earth, to which Goku said, Oh, so your people were wiped out? Why don't you just use the Dragon Balls? She then was, of course, shocked being explained what the Dragon Balls were, and she was like, those sound like those wish-granting balls, but okay. When being told about the Dragon Balls, she obviously grew very happy, and they were planning to gather them up, but that'll be in the next part. And so, they would obviously wish back for all the damage Raditz had done to be restored, but I'm not going to get into that right now. That is for a future part. She then explained that the two Saiyans are far stronger than her, and would be coming for Earth and Alia. Just then, however, Piccolo arrived, and he said he had overheard practically everything, and he decided that he would help against the fight with the Saiyans, because if anyone would rule this planet, it would be him. Tersa then explained that these two Saiyans are even stronger than Raditz, who she had had so much struggle fighting, and they have no idea when they might arrive, so they have to get stronger as soon as possible. Goku, of course, agreed. He loves to train, so he's really happy to have met his sister. So Tersa has joined the Z Fighters, being given the Turtle Hermit Gi, which I will change in the future because I don't want her to wear the Turtle Hermit Gi, but for now I'll just give that to her. Now, Tersa explained that she would protect Kakarot, and she would protect his world, because she couldn't let what happened to her on her planet happen to him. Goku smiled at her. Well, I'm Goku, but you can call me Kakarot. And I think we'll end this part there. So this wasn't exactly the most exciting part of them all, I think. A lot of parts are going to be a lot more exciting than this one, but we will be covering, the Saiyan's arrival in the next part, and we will see what's going to happen to Tersa in the future. And we'll be expanding on a bunch of other things, such as Tersa's relationships with people on Earth, and a bunch of other stuff. So I hope you all did enjoy this second part, and I can promise you things will be getting a lot more spicy within the story with Tersa's arrival on Earth. But that's obviously for the future. But let me know what you guys thought. What did you think of Tersa killing Raditz in such a gruesome way? What did you think of her and Goku reuniting, and her obviously meeting Piccolo? Let me know all of these thoughts down below. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and comment down below. While you're at it, subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Laters.